Welcome back to another video where we dig a little bit deeper into a topic that I touched on in one of my shorts, or if you saw it on Facebook or Instagram, I talked about this in a reel that I posted to both. So today we're going to talk about, do you actually need a buyer's agent to represent you when you buy a new construction home? And goodness gracious, I just noticed the glare on my glasses. Listen, I'm old and I need them to see, but at the same time, I'm not gonna make y'all stare at this glare for like the entire video. So we're just gonna pop them up there. So if you didn't already know, I spent the past 8 years as a model home agent. I'm no longer a model home agent. I now work in general real estate. But yeah, since I have so much time, so much experience as a model home agent, I've got a fair bit of insight on the whole new construction topic. So one of the questions that I used to get asked, oh my gosh, I want to say like all the time, either by friends or family members, in passing, or people that I didn't even know would walk into a model home, we get to talk and they'd ask me this question. And it is, okay, if I'm buying a new construction home, do I actually need a buyer's agent to represent me, or can't I just work with the model home agent? The short answer is yes. In my opinion, yes, you need a buyer's agent representing you. Like Mr. Big once said, abso-freaking-lutely. I bet you thought I was going to say the real quote. It's not my style. But okay, so here's why. That model home agent is not there to represent you. Their job is not to represent you. And listen, I'm not hating on model home agents. I used to be one. A lot of my favorite people are still model home agents. So I got a lot of love for them. But truth be told, the model home agent was hired by the builder to represent the builder in their best interest. Their job is to sell homes and to try to get the best deal that they can possibly get for their builder. The other thing is that the model home agent, since they are the builder's representative, yes, it is their responsibility to be honest with you, to be ethical and honest, but they're not there to negotiate on your behalf. So, and it makes sense. Wouldn't it make sense if the builder is already going in with their own representative who is there to get them the best deal? Wouldn't it make sense for you to do the same? For you to walk into a transaction with your representative who is looking out for your best interests and is there to negotiate and try to get you the best deal. So yeah, it just makes sense to. Another thing, and I keep looking down because I actually made notes this time. My last video, I kind of rambled, and I really don't want to do that to you guys. But here's the thing. Even if you've built homes before and you think, oh, I can do this, like this ain't my first rodeo, I can totally do this, I don't really need a representative, I would still get one for two reasons. First of all, if you, let's say the first time you built a home, you built in the state of Oklahoma, but now you have relocated, you've gotten a different job, maybe you're with the military and they have sent you to a new base, and now you've been sent to the naval base in Millington, Tennessee. Well, you're in a totally different state with a different builder. So, and not all builders operate the same. I always used to say, not all builders are created equal. So they could have a totally different building process. They could have a different contract that they use. So it would make sense, especially since real estate laws can vary from state to state, it would still make sense to use one since, hey, state of Oklahoma may operate differently than the state of Tennessee. So you really need a state of Tennessee expert there helping you with that contract and that build process. But let's say that you're actually building your third home with the exact same builder in the exact same location, the exact same city. So the builder that I worked for is based here in the Memphis area, and they build amazing homes. But they have had some repeat buyers. When I was there, I remember there was one buyer who decided to actually build his third home with the same builder. And he had built his first home several years ago. So it's like, hey, let's say you've been in your first home that particular builder has built. Let's say you've been in that home for 10 years. Well, in the past 10 years, they've probably changed up some things. They've probably fine-tuned the process, maybe changed it a little bit. I can tell you that, gosh, probably all of the builders have had to change their contracts since 2024 when that NAR settlement happened. They've had to either edit wording or add wording or something like that. Or, maybe add a completely different page to their contract explaining things. So something is bound to be different, whether you built your home with them 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 3 years ago. So it would still make sense to have a realtor, a buyer's agent representing you so that they can read through it and still go in and explain, hey, here's this clause that may not have been in your last one, and here is how it affects you. Here's what it could mean for you. Or, hey, this builder is doing their process differently now. So some agents can do that. Some agents are very well versed in new home construction. Some agents sell multiple homes with the same builder. And so they can tell you, hey, I see you bought your last home with them 3 years ago, but they've changed things up recently, and here's how building this year in 2025 is different than when you built in 2022. So yeah, I would still use one even if this is not your first rodeo. Also, just remember, a buyer's agent can lighten your load when it comes to this process. So let's say you're jumping into it and you are building a brand new home from scratch. That build time is usually going to be somewhere around 6 months, maybe longer, depending on the size of the home that you built. Sometimes builders can get them up in a little less than 6 months, but really standard build time in this particular area is about 6 months or more. During that 6 months, there's going to be a lot of moving parts to make sure that train runs on time, that all your ducks are in a row and everything's good to go and all the trains are running on time. There we go. Now I got the phrase correct. So that realtor or your realtor can take a lot of that load off of your plate. Biggest example I can give is that sometimes that model home agent or that builder is going to come to you and say, hey, I didn't see this particular form. Can you send us this particular form so that we can add it to your file and make sure that your file is complete when we send it to the lender? Well, if you're working a normal 9-to-5 job, you may not be able to drop everything you're doing and do that right away, whereas your agent can help you with that. Your agent may be able to find that faster and get it sent to them sooner. Your agent can also help with the scheduling of appointments. They can keep track of everything that's going on, like not just your appointments, but like say you've added some upgrades after signing the contract. And so they can keep track of that to make sure that, hey, everything on this list I am seeing in this home, so that they can just make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. Of course, like I mentioned, they can help with filling out the real estate related paperwork and everything else. So I will say, as a model home agent, when a buyer had a buyer's agent representing them, those transactions seem to go a lot smoother than when somebody did not have an agent and they were unrepresented. And here's the last thing I will say about it. If you were to ask a model home agent, do I really need a buyer's agent, or can I just work directly with you? Answering that question, it's kind of like being between a rock and a hard place. Because if you think about it, so model home agent is trying to get the builder the best deal they can get, and they're representing the builder's best interest. So let's think of it just from a dollar standpoint. So here's what I mean. We're going to do some math here, so hang with me because I'm not the best at math. But let's say it is an $800,000 home. And let's say that the builder has agreed to pay their model home agent a 3% commission. They've also agreed to pay the buyer's agent a 3% commission. So 3%, 3%, add that together, that is 6%. So the way that it works is that is 6% of the sales price, just in case you've never bought a home before, just to explain how that works. So 6% of $800,000 adds up to $48,000. So if that buyer comes in and they are unrepresented, then that 3% that they would have paid to a buyer's agent, they get to keep, because they've only agreed to pay their agent 3%. They're not going to give that full 6% to their agent. They're only going to give their agent 3%. So if there's no buyer's agent around to collect the other 3%, they don't have to pay it out. What that adds up to is $24,000. So if we look at that whole 6% is $48,000. So that means $24,000 goes to the model home agent, $24,000 goes to the buyer's agent. If you think of it, if the model home agent thinks of it from the position of what is the best deal I can get for my builder, is it in their builder's best interest to save $24,000? Yeah, it is. I mean, that's $24,000. That's no small peanuts. So you're asking them to forget about the builder's best interests and answer you. Now, listen, realtors, we do our best to be honest and ethical, but this is actually something I used to get in trouble for. So when somebody would ask me that, the answer I would give them is, hey, it's totally your decision. You can have a buyer's agent if you like. If you don't want to have one, you don't have to have one. But is it in your best interest to have one representing you? Yes, because my job as the model home agent is to represent the builder. Like, as much as I like you, it's not my job to represent you. So it does limit the things that I can do for you. So it would just make sense for you to have your own. I used to get in trouble for that. And maybe there was a better way to phrase it, but I used to get in trouble for saying that, because it's like, you could have saved us $24,000, but now you're costing us another $24,000. But in my mind, I was like, God, is it ethical just to say it's up to you and leave it at that? Is it honest to not answer that? To not explain to them that, my responsibility lies to the builder and not to you, and to not explain to them that it would be in their best interest? I don't know. I was raised by a couple of very honest parents, and I just could not bring myself to not tell somebody that. So yeah, I used to get in trouble for it, but oh well. I'm not there anymore. It's all right. Everything worked out just fine. It's okay. But model home agents can sometimes struggle to answer that. They really can, because it's like, how do I answer this honestly without causing my builder to lose some money? And some people were a lot better at answering that than I was. So yeah, you got to think of it that way. It's like asking your ex-spouse's divorce attorney, hey, do I really need my own divorce attorney? Yeah, I mean, how are they supposed to answer that? Okay, that is all I'm going to say about this topic for now. We may revisit it in the future. But if you have any questions, or if there's something that I didn't cover that you are still wondering about, pop a comment down below. If you are in the Memphis area, you're looking to buy new construction, and you would really like to have a buyer's agent who is well-versed in new construction and has a lot of experience working with builders, and knows how they can negotiate, don't hesitate to reach out. My email address is down below. Do not hesitate to reach out. I would love to at least have a conversation with you. Until next time, you guys have a really good holiday season. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. I hope it's fantastic. I'm not going to do any more videos probably until January, just because I'm hosting my family's Christmas gathering. And then I have like my extended family's Christmas gathering. And then of course there is my cat who decided to knock one of the Christmas decorations off of the table, right in the middle of that. But you know, there's that. Then there's the whole Christmas Eve, Christmas Day with my immediate family. I'm hosting that as well. And then listen, y'all, me and my girls, we have a huge New Year's Eve party. So there's that coming up, and just a lot going on in January. So this is probably the last time I'm going to see you guys in a video this year. I hope the rest of your year is amazing, and I will see you in 2026.